Can you talk more about why you believe combat rules in RPGs are more necessary and take up more rulebook space as a result?
There's a bunch of reasons. I think just generally most entertainment is oriented around action anyway. And you can do whole role-playing sessions where combat doesn't come up, right? Just like you can have whole films where there's no fights or whatever. But in mainstream entertainment, computer games, films, comics, whatever, fighting tends to be included. So there's a lot of impetus on any game to include fighting. Obviously, since role-playing games emerged from the war games hobby, combat was always a focus. I mean, role-playing emerged due to side games to Napoleonic combat that would kind of fill out the situation and so on. So again, that's not surprising. As to why we have so many rules for it, I think it's because it's so high stakes. And so you need that greater fidelity to understand what's going on, to have your character be able to do cool things in certain ways, and you have set rules for it so that it relies a lot less on Games Master fiat, and so that it allows the Games Master to abdicate responsibility for what happens during combat, because you don't necessarily want to kill the characters of your friends, right? But you want there to be risk, and then you want there to be a reward for taking that risk. So by having such a more codified and expanded set of rules for these sorts of things, you can leave it up to the rules to arbitrate the encounter to a large degree. Alright, so you are not responsible for killing your friend's character. They just rolled poorly, or the bad guys rolled well, or they just weren't up to that encounter. They didn't do their tactics the right way that would lead to a victory, that sort of thing. So I think it's a combination of these forces, the heritage of role-playing games, the focus on combat is a lot like the way if you get into a fight in real life, time seems to slow down, right? Everything becomes a bit more clear, a bit more slow seeming. So I think that's part of it, and also to insulate the Games Master from the wrath of their players should someone end up dead. But because it's so high stakes, you need that rule structure in place to ensure that it is plausible, if not fair.